Okay, so 6:46 on the 9th, Monday. So, and we lived through the Super Bowl. So, and I swear to God, sometimes when nothing happens and there's all this hype and build up to it, it's like a letdown. And then it's like, man, when is something going to happen? How long is this going to drag out? And I started thinking, like, I wonder if all of this stuff, it keeps getting hyped up to try and get us, because it keeps us spinning um, in this matrix. It keeps us going in it, hanging on like what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. And I'm feeling like it's just part of the process to keep trying to pull free from whatever's going to happen next and not be hung up on it, because it feels like that's where they want to keep us. And but of course there was more signals in the game, which is one weird thing about it is that I thought that they had said the Patriots were going to win and everything's fixed, and then the Seahawks won. And so then it's like, well, are they trying to, like, everything, like there's some reason why everything happens. So I don't know. That's what I had heard. The Patriots were supposed to win, and then the Seahawks did, and I was like, well, so did they think like, well, we'll tell them that the games are fixed, then we'll tell them who's going to win, then they'll go in and make bets, and then the other team will win. We'll throw them. We'll just confuse them, because everything is like they're just trying to mess with us and confuse us. And so now, some of the other weird things. So there's all this drama around Bad Bunny performing, which I guess even in his place, I don't know. Some people, like, I keep seeing this Puerto Rican lady sharing, like, translating his songs, and they're very pervy and violent. And then somebody else told me, well, his songs are all about becoming free from the government and stuff. So I have no idea. I've never even heard of the guy until a couple days ago. And I really don't care. I don't care who plays the halftime show. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I don't care about the Super Bowl. I don't care about sports. I don't care about any of that stuff. The only time I ever even watched any game was because a husband wanted to watch the game and it was on the TV. There was one husband, I tried to get into it. I tried to be like, okay, yeah, so who's the players? Like, and it's just like, it's just not, I just have no interest. I don't care. And I look at it more of like the arena. I always, ever since I was a kid, because my dad watched the football game all the time. He was a Chiefs fan because we were from Kansas. And he never, even when we lived in Dallas, he never switched to the Cowboys. He always stayed with the Chiefs. And so the games were on all the time, and I would see him. Well, if he was home, I mean, most of the time he was drunk at a bar somewhere, but or out in some girl. But if he were there and the games were on, I would see, and I always think, why in the world would people do this? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you sit there and slam into each other like this over a ball? And why would people be entertained by this? And so it never sat right with me from the time I was a kid. And then I always kind of just felt like it's like the same thing in the arena. It's the games. And then as I've gotten older and seeing the damage that happens to these guys from doing it, then it even makes less sense to me. Like, why do we put ourselves through this stuff? Because while you're a football player, you get some fame, they pay you a lot of money. Well, they also shorten your life and make you have lots of injuries and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not like they can really shorten it, but that's the storyline. That's the storyline that's playing out in that role, in that person's role. What they're here to experience and to show everybody else. That's what it is. So, anyways, it's not, I just saw somebody doing this whole breakdown because I guess some people everything is divided. Everything is divided. It's just like some of us are this way, some of us that way. What's the argument? But so people who are into the football game are offended and think the people who aren't into it are just trying to be edgy or something. It's like, no, Like literally have no interest, not even an inkling of interest. I don't even have interest to be edgy to somebody who likes it. I just see it as like, I see it as like low vibration. I see it as kind of a ignorant kind of thing. So it's not, I just have no interest. And so it's not like I saw this guy doing this whole video talking about that the people who don't like to watch it, it's because they get overstimulated and they can't handle all the stimulation. It's like, that's not it. I think it's stupid. I think, like it is annoying when you have these commentators talking all the time, telling you what you see, telling you how to think. You have commercials going, you have noise going. Yeah, it's annoying, but it's not why I don't watch. And so, anyways, it just is like, why is everything a battle? I mean, there's a huge battle going on about who's the Super Bowl show. And people are very irritated on both, like it's both sides going. And I'm like, why is it that everything comes down to two sides? I just keep seeing it's like two sides, two sides, two sides. And just like in the game, it's two sides. It's like everything is keeping us between these two poles. And as close as you get to one pole, polarizes you. It keeps you distance. Our destination is the midpoint. It's not on one side or the other. It's the midpoint. It's the middle of the road. It's staying focused. Which, speaking of the middle of the road, I keep seeing news stuff from like right where I live. And there was a bad car wreck, probably people drunk from the game. And the girl, a 20-year-old girl got killed, but there was the guy who was driving the truck. So it was on the 84. And I'm thinking, so I think it's the 55 that I go a lot on. But the 55 here is not like the 55 in California. The 55 here is a 2-lane state highway kind of thing. The 84, but I was thinking it couldn't be the part of the 84 because it's weird. Okay, because I think the 84 is, man, I'm not that familiar. But I know, like, I go on the 84 all the time. And I was thinking, well, because it seems like the 84 partly on some parts is the interstate. But it's weird how, like, you can be on a road and then it becomes, like, I don't know. Their system here is different. And every state has a different way that they do their roads. But so the 84 on the interstate part, obviously, is the lanes are separated. But on this wreck, he crossed over. So it has to be on part of the state highway where the 84 is just the 2-lane, which I think is right down the street from me. But it was near Caldwell and Nampa, and that's where I go to Costco and Winco and stuff like that. So that's where I go to the market. So it could have been the road that I go on all the time. That might not be the 55. That might be the 84. I don't know. But anyways, it had to be one of those roads where, because the guy crossed over, he hit one car, that car wrecked. Then he must have crossed back over, hit another car, then hit the next car, and then he just kept going. So he hit all these cars, and all the people had to be going to the hospital. One girl died and stuff. He closed down the road for the whole night, but God, I'm glad I don't travel around. If something like closed the road, well, I guess that you'd use your navigation. But that's the thing, is like we are so reliant on technology, and that's the thing where we're headed towards, is this thing that's going to set us from not having that, set us off. So so they had to close down the whole road, and then he took off. And I guess they caught him. I'm not sure. Because I just heard another story that was horrible about a situation. It was, and this one wasn't here. This one was over by the East Coast. And this one, oh my gosh, now I'm getting flooded with all these things. So weird, because I'll be like, what am I going to be talking about? I don't even know. And and then it starts like coming in. So okay, I did say it was 6:46 on the 9th, and the White House last night put out a message on their message board, whatever, and said that Monday all hell is going to break loose. So just another one of those things like, well, what's going to happen? And it could be so nothing. But I just saw a video talking about that they won't raise the debt ceiling. And so that's going to crash the economy. Well, we've been waiting on that. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully it does. But and hopefully that's the hell that's going to break loose is financial. But once that breaks loose, that is going to shut down shit. That is going to make it where, you're not going to be able to go use your cards. You're not going to be able to go shopping. You're not going to be able to do a lot of stuff. So we got to see, and we're not going to know yet. What is it, 6:46 here? So the East Coast should be opening up. I think, it should be opening in 15 minutes. Because I'm pretty sure it would be 7 here, would be East Coast opening. Let me think. Okay, so it's 7 here, 8 by Crystal, 9. So that would be 9. But some things would open at 8. But the banks may not even open until 10. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see. DC should be open. Donald should be up working. So, who knows? Who knows what is coming, But what we know is that Golden Gate Bridge is still standing. The stadium didn't get blown up. There's a lot of things that were, on, especially when it was like that they were hyping it up even. Like the 3-letter agency that starts with a C, making a whole thing. Like they're keeping all these things where it was like they were trying to warn us, but then nothing happens. And then it's like, so what is, like, is it trying to just feed off of our tension, off of our energy? Like what is going on? And so so there's supposed to be something, but this whole month is going to be filled with stuff. I mean, a fire horse starts on Tuesday, which everybody's on the edge of their seat for that. And anytime that there is any kind of event, though, there's always an energy that's coming in prior. And so I would say stuff would start, and it wouldn't just be that day. Because even like with the eclipse, like a lot of us can feel, I feel more from the full moon a couple days before. On the full moon, it doesn't feel as intense to me as it does the days leading up to it. So there's energies around all these different things, which is really strange when you start thinking about that. The moon is this fake thing anyway. What does that have to do with anything? But anyways, this world is just a friggin' weird dream, weird place. I don't even know what to say about it. But so the let me think where I was. So we have the eclipse coming. We have this debt ceiling thing, apparently. We have the fire horse coming. There's some more stuff that is like the astrology and stuff, more stuff that's supposed to be going on this month. There's supposed to be a big thing today. Something about Saturn and Pluto or something. I don't know. But there's something all the time. There's always something going on. This month is just going to be, I think, popping off all the time with things. And maybe none of them are going to be as significant as to change our lives, but we'll see. I mean, something's going to happen that's just going to change our lives. And it seems that the signs that they were showing, or just trying to create more tension, was, so Bad Bunny was, which, and remember, the code followers is follow the rabbit. He's Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny is there to give us a message to some people who look at different. It depends on what your perspective is. It depends on what you're paying attention to. And I'm always in the conspiracy world. And so I'm always looking at the signs and symbols and trying to understand this place. I've been trying to understand this place since I was a kid. So the bunny, his song, they had power lines, And so then they had people up going up on the power lines. Then they flash over to a camera that's watching us. Well, if you listen to the theorists, then we're always being watched, and they're letting us know you're always being watched. There's always a camera nearby. You're being surveilled all the time, and even to the point where they've said our TVs are watching us. That there's a thing that our TVs are video liking us, like videotaping us and logging it or some weird stuff. Our phones are like, it's just, this world is highly surveilled. And what they do with the information, I mean, now it's come out in the files, the school pictures, and what that whole thing was like, a catalog for the creeps. And so, and they had access to your address, everything. So, you know, they knew who they wanted and where to get them. So it's just like, this stuff is just so crazy. Something about the GATE program just came into my mind. I can't remember what it was, but something. Okay, but so I'll skip over that. So I'm going to go over back to the, so in the reference, so it's not just that there's surveillance, but then the power lines. And so then, I don't know, he climbs it or something and falls down or jumps down or something. So anyways, the theorists are that something's going to happen to lose power. I mean, this has been something that has been riding over on our backs for years at this point. Something's going to take down the power grid. Something's going to take down the power grid. And we don't know, but there's you know, an officer of the military or whatever out there saying that if this occurs, that, and it's not just him saying, now that's like passing around, it's like the telephone call is going, is like 3/4, 95% of the people will die. They won't be able to handle it. It's like, what? Like, like all this stuff is like, you had to be getting prepared. And I had a long talk. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she started getting like really nervous about some of the stuff. And because she was talking about some stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not on that algorithm. I'm on the algorithm of the conspiracy world, you know, or trying to figure shit out. And so she, so I don't know if she went and looked up some videos to see where, you know, what is that algorithm? What are you talking about? But she suddenly sends me this one. I was like, oh shit. Like this is, oh my God. And so it's a guy, and he looked military to me, and he's talking to somebody, and he says that the whole thing is that we're all filled with heavy, you know, metal and stuff. And that is a big thing about what's going on up in the sky art. And people have investigated and seen what's the breakdown. Well, it's a lot of metals, a lot of heavy metals. And so we are all full. And when that is also what has been associated with kids who, there's a lot of kids that seem to be on the spectrum, but they have a high LEAD content. And so it affects us. And so this fella is saying that we all have this, and that some event is going to happen. And it is going to be like if you turned the microwave on and you had tinfoil inside. He said that's what's going to happen. He said it's going to wipe out 95% of the population. So she was like, oh, shit. Now she's starting to be like, you know, worried about like her kids aren't prepared and all this stuff. I was like, oh, girl, I've been there. I've been there, and nobody listens to you. And she's like, well, you shouldn't be laughing about it. I was like, hey, I'm like years into this. I have been, you know, I've been going through this a while. And yeah, it's hard at this point too. You know, I can't, you just roll through this stuff. You don't stay in the same place. But she's in a place where I was. And so I understand, you know, it is scary. And so then you start worrying about your family, your kids, and what do you do? And then nobody's listening to you. It's like, yeah, it's rough. It's real rough. But that is also a part of your journey of learning to, what I have found is it was been a part of my journey to learn to let it go, learn to just trust. Every soul has come here for its own journey, and we can't control it. And so the anyways, so the guy says that some event is gonna happen with some technology or something. Something's gonna be cranked, and it's going to like zap us from the inside, and which is horrifying. And so I don't know, and I don't know if that's like what they had planned, but it's gonna be not go that direction. I have no idea. I just know something big is coming, but I can't imagine that whatever is going to be is going to wipe out 95% of the people. Like that, just those numbers don't ring right to me. And so, because like in the book of one, in where they call it the harvest, and so in the ascension, and they were like, I feel so certain it's like 3/4 of the population moves forward to go to the age of Aquarius. I was going confirmation trying to go. So I would say, and some of this stuff is just like fear, fear, fear. And, but to me, for one thing, it would seem that there would be a lot of push on detail, get that stuff out of you. Which there is a lot of people who talk about it, which her and I were talking about it. And, so there's things to do. And she's like, well, it's like it's a very, like, how much time do we have? And it's like, you just got to just keep trying and keep trying. And over here, we're getting, sky art every day. And so, there's an accumulation happening for sure. Some of the people you can witness the accumulation because they start forgetting things. They start not being able to remember things, which I just saw a clip of Elon saying, well, we can't bring back old memories, but we can help you so you can start creating new ones. I'm sure he must be talking about some kind of a, hey, we'll just put a little implant on there and we'll fix you up. It's like, no, you won't. No, you won't. And so, which another thing at the Super Bowl, the guy standing behind the winner looks like Elon. It looks like Elon in a mask. Like, it's like his face with gray hair. I don't even know. Like, some of this stuff is so odd. And they make sure to keep making sure he's seen. So, I don't know. Then they even had, what's his name? He keeps being in the news about all sorts of stuff. Oh, I can't think of his name. The mall cop guy. Because there's a teacher who is him, but he pretends to not be him and pretends to be somebody else, but there's no freaking way it's not him. And people kept showing stuff about that. Then there was another thing. Well, anyways, he was at the game by himself, sitting up high, holding flowers. And so I just don't even know. Like, some of this stuff is just odd. No, it's not just the Presleys that have been selling their eggs and DNA like to these people, but it's also the Kardashians have, so that's also in the files. Then there's also more about the connection to the 23, which I've talked about that before this ever came out. I could just see it without hearing it. I just could see it. Like, that's why I didn't do it. And even the other day, or a couple weeks ago, when I was talking to my sister, and she was telling me something about the whole thing. She did it. My brother did it. I think me and my other brother didn't do it. But he could have done it too, but I didn't do it. And then I have an aunt who did it. And so anyways, I told my sister, I said, well, what are the genetics? Because we come from the same family, so wouldn't be about the same. And she's like, no, we're all different. Which confirms to me, yeah, because we're coded by our DNA. It has more to do with who we are as a complete being, not just in this experience. This experience is just adding to our code. And so it's not your code, this thing that they're trying to do. But then, see, you think about like the Anunnaki messing with the DNA and stuff like that. Well, that's also what they're doing. So they're trying to get code. Like they're always looking for certain things. In that 23 was finding something that they were looking for. And so then once they have that structure that you sent in for that test, then they have that structure, they take it into their LAB, and then they have it to use that, they can isolate that structure and put it into their new being. And so, which somebody was sharing a clip of, oh man, what was his name? He's one of the secret, uh, I've talked about him before. I saw him on Lord Eisenhower, and he's talked about a lot of things, but he was like a doctor or scientist or something, and he was used in the stuff. And he, before when I had seen him, he was talking about doing autopsies or something on other beings. And he would know they were other beings because of the internal structure. And which is all weird because it's all an illusion. Nothing's really real. But anyways, but it has to hold some type of structure, I guess, for the storyline. So and he was talking about, that they take all these different DNAs and all this stuff, and then they, Dr. Frankenstein stuff, like I've been saying, and then they create their super soldiers. So they create these, magnificent beings that they think. And so they had made one, he said, that got loose and got out. And it was on, I think it was on Cosmic Disclosure. It was talking about this because the person interviewing him is David Wilcock. And his name, it's a familiar name. You would hear it and you would be like, oh, I've heard of him, but I can't think of what it is. But so he said this creature got out, and he said it moved so fast and it was taken off through the desert. So I think they were at the 51, and and it took off, and they had to send all of these, like tanks or something. They had to send this stuff out to get this thing. And he said that it was kind of like a grizzly bear with these metal talons and stuff. And then I guess these metal talons, but I think it had like some kind of, I don't even know, but it's some big creature. And it moved fast. It was heading for a town. Like, and then, and who knows what the intelligence factor is. Is it, going to sit and spy on somebody and get them when they come outside? Like, or is it just going to go through and chew everybody up through? But anyways, they had I think, maybe even if they KILLED'd it, if they wouldn't have, like maybe just put it to, I don't even know. But he said that the truck thing that they had to put it in was 6 inches of steel with the walls or the side. This truck was made out of 6 inches of steel, and they put it in there. Once they caught it, which they would have had to do something, put it to sleep, something. But he said that the claw marks inside were 4 inches deep. So yeah, that's what they do at their time, and they're taking people's structures, that because everybody has structures from other places, and so they are stealing. When they're talking about stealing your data, they're stealing parts of you from other places, and they're trying to use them, if you get what I'm saying. Which the other sad story I was going to say that I had just heard was there was a TikTok girl, and I guess she was popular. I guess she was like a saleswoman, and she was live all the time or something. And so she was married, and then she started a relationship with a lady, and the lady and her were going to get together, and she was coming to rescue her. And so I don't remember if the one lady was like in Virginia or something, and the other lady was in Florida. So she was flying up. The husband found out, and he started making TikToks of how this isn't right and stuff like that. So once the lady got there, he SHOT'd them. Then he took off in this big manhunt chase with the cops. And then by the time they got him, he had, done himself in. So, yeah, there's all these crazy things just keep happening. These really sad things. And then there was another thing that was coming into my mind when I was seeing that. Hold on a second. So, the, dang, so crazy because it goes by so fast sometimes. Yeah. So, anyways, we have the, more crazy stories with the, this one keeps going at my mind and going at my mind, so I'm gonna tell this one too. This one was a girl talking about her premonition, and so she kept having a dream when she was a kid, and she kept being in this horrible car wreck, but she kept feeling like she was so sure she recognized this guy, but she could never get close enough. So then she would have another dream about it, and she kept trying to get up to see who this guy was because she was sure she knew him, but she couldn't figure out who he was. So then she kept, every time she would dream about it, she would go and try and get closer. Finally, she got up close enough, and she pushed his hair back, and she could see his face was just all messed up, and it was like unrecognizable, but she saw his tattoo. And when she saw his tattoo, she's like, oh my God, that's my brother. So she told her mom, because she'd been telling her mom about this horrible dream that she kept having. And her mom kept saying, well, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. And so then when she had the dream, and she recognized it was her brother, then the mom called the brother, which the brother was living in Alaska. And so called him, and he was like, he was doing fine and everything. But it comes around to his birthday, and he goes out with all his friends. He gets wasted, and then his friends go home, but he stays with these people he didn't really know, but stays partying with them because they're all partying together. And so there was a guy and two girls and him, and the guy's driving and goes out in another car. So two cars full of drunk people collide, hit head on. Their car flips. He comes out of the window, and so that car is flipping on his head, which I know somebody that this happened to. When I was a teenager, my dad had all these rich friends, and like I've talked about before, they were all these rich, these millionaires and stuff in Dallas at the time, which that's where I said I think my dad was involved with the cabal, but my dad would have been more of like a, get things done kind of guy. So, which my dad acted like he was some like Las Vegas gangster kind of guy. So but this one guy, so they were real rich, and this one kid, and I think he might have even been adopted, but he was, and back then there was a car called an MG, and there was an MG midget, and the MGs were little sports cars. I'm pretty sure there were two-seaters, but and back then we didn't have all of these seatbelts and all this stuff. Like, it wasn't a thing then all the time. And I don't remember when it became a thing where they started saying wear your seatbelts, and they start pushing that agenda, and then they started making it a law. Which, just think about how ridiculous that is to tell us like a law that we have to do what you say. But anyways, so he was sitting on the back of the MG, and the two people were sitting in the car. So he was sitting on the thing with his like feet in it or something, and they're driving down the road, and they got in a wreck, and the car flipped over and over on his head. He lived too, but also he ended up with brain damage and stuff. And it was a hard road. And so that's what happened with this guy too. So the car's flipping over on his head, and he gets all messed up. He dies a couple times, comes back, and then he's in the hospital for like a year and has to get surgery after surgery and stuff. And then his family decides to move there to take care of him because he was going on and on for his rehabilitation. And the girl said he's not the same person he was, because you never are after you have a brain injury. It's like, I'm not the same person I was either. And but partly though I'm not the same person isn't just the brain injury, it's the healing, because I was a different person right after the brain injury than I am right now. I've had to do a lot of healing to get to the point of where I'm at now. That when I very first had it, I was way more of victim mentality, I think. Way more of, and I was on lots of meds and stuff like that. So anyways, now I take nothing. And so anyways, she was just talking about the premonition was real, which I know a lot of people have there's a lot of people having real premonitions, but sometimes it's hard to understand. It's hard to figure out what they're trying to tell you. And so, anyways, that girl's ended up being true. And it happened only a few months after she had finally recognized who it was. And so, anyway, oh, and she also said that when she was at the dream, she could smell everything. So it was like she was really going to this scene. So she was really projecting into the time traveling and going into this situation or into this scene. And she was going there. So when you go into your dream state, like it's like all this whole thing opens up to you, because your like consciousness detaches from the storyline, because you've closed the storyline and your body is at rest, but your consciousness is still, your consciousness never stops. It just goes and goes. That's why, them telling you that you can die and stuff like that is misleading, because your consciousness just keeps going no matter what. They can't stop it. So so she left and time traveled and went to where this accident happened. And, and who knows, like, was her higher self trying to help her prepare to see or teach her that she has these abilities? I'm not sure what the whole thing is about. But that's where you have to, whatever you're going through, you have to question it yourself. You have to figure out, like, well, why are you showing me this? Why are you telling me this? What am I supposed to get from this? Because that is where we should all be more centered into our spiritual communication and working on our spirit, rather than being trapped in this thing watching football games and shit like that. And so, but they want to keep us in this world, where people are going out and spending hundreds of dollars buying party stuff to sit in front of a game and get all emotionally injected into this game that you have no control over. And it is funny because that one video that was talking about, the difference in the two people, and they're like, you have these one people who they, put on their lucky socks and they get all emotional. They feel like they know the players and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. It just is, it's odd. I mean, there's so many things that are odd. But then he even went further into the tribal mentality, where we all come from different tribes. And so people align themselves with different groups and stuff like that. And so they feel more connected when they aren't aligned with a group. But at this point of ascension, or whatever you want to think of it as, is really the journey to solidarity. It's the journey to sovereignty. It's the journey to self, to recognize you as a individual, and to become, your most in-tuned individual that you can become, the most you that you can be. And so that's where they want to keep you distracted and working on other things. And oh yeah, there's another thing too. So on the school picture thing, because a girl found her old thing, I could go in and get my kids' ones. I wouldn't have my old things for my school pictures, but I could go in and find my kids' ones. I would still have some of those wrappers. But so on the back of it, it has a little place where, say no to drugs, and, give us your information and we'll send you a pamphlet. And then they have all your information over here, your address, your phone number, your parents' name, where you go to school, all that. And then down underneath, it has, I guess, where they're located, where their main office is. Just so happens to be Minnesota. So I said, there's more to this whole thing at that place than meets the eye. And there's going to be any of the places that have a lot of hostility, a lot of stuff going on. Just figure they're really connected into something, and we just don't know what it is. But there's deep connections into all of this, the deep state, I guess, is what we would say. Yeah. So they're, I don't know, a central location of stealing, children's. So is a location there which, oh my God, somebody just showed this video clip that, I it was so disgusting. And it was, what's his name? He's so popular. He's even judge off The Voice. Um, Adam Levine. So I don't even know. I think I had heard some of their songs prior to The Voice. Like, I knew some of their songs, like, from the radio or whatever. And then he had some popular songs. He had some songs I really liked. Then he became on The Voice. And that's the first time I saw him. And it's like, oh, that guy's so cute. And then it just became like, he was going out. So he was going out with models. Any of these guys that are going out with models, it's like, you know how Leonardo's always gone out with these models and stuff. It's like, these girls are, this is not just a bunch of models. Like, give me a fucking break, man. So, oh yeah, more with the Erica too, Jesus Christ. But so that's Adam Levine. So he was going out with models and married some model. So to me, all, you know, at this point of knowing, it's just like these captured girls, handler, like whatever, this whole weird fucking thing. So anyways, but this song they did, Animal, I think it's called Animals, or We're Animals or something. But what he is singing about is not eating animals, if you get my drift. Eating of the flesh. And the video is, oh my God, it is so disgusting and gory. It's like, oh my God, what in the world do these people accept? Like, what in the world? And they're going to sing songs and do videos and like, this is cool, this is okay. Which somebody who was just telling me that, not just telling me, I just saw a girl talking about that there's a new documentary that's on Netflix. And it is about, what was it she said? It was something to get us to change our views, to get us to think of stuff differently. And I think it has something to do with babies and something, I don't know, but like to make like, oh, it's not that bad. So, you know, KILLING and babies, it's not that bad, you know. And then they push us, like they had been for a while, trying to push us over the, you know, eating each other. And that's, yeah, well, that's a thing. And it's like, well, not a thing for all of us. And don't try and desensitize us so that we want to. But that's the thing that's so creepy, is how many people have been eating it this whole time. And then it just always comes into my mind, how many of them are going to go like, well, that's pretty good stuff. It's like, I think some people are going to be like really disgusted and grossed out. And then other people are going to be like, well, I mean, what are you going to do? What makes sense to do with the dead people anyways? May as well eat them. I mean, it's like, man, it works on some of their stuff of the way that they desensitize people and they get people to look at things in a certain way. So I don't know, but these documentaries and stuff they put on too. Netflix a lot of times is to train your brain, desensitize it, make you lean in the direction that they're trying to get you to lean into. And so it's like, but anyways, so now we have, if they're going to, oh yeah, and there's something about they're doing something, which I've talked about this for years too, something that they're doing with the frequency that's creating a scramble in people's minds, that making people feel like they're having anxiety attacks, heart attacks, and all that stuff could be actually causing them to have it or something. And so there's that. And so then they're saying that they're going to do that. They're going to use these high-powered energy weapons on us and stuff, and these high technology ones. And but I mean, there's just, man, at this point, so we didn't have the WW3 that started, but they said, oh, it's about to go, they've awoken the sleepers. And so I mean, they could still keep dangling that, or there can still be some stuff that goes on. So there can be things that happen in certain cities and then they blame it on that. So, and it can be things like, uh, you know, railways going and then trains coming and it's not there anymore. And so big crashes. It can be an assortment of things because it's just the instigating chaos and fear. So it could be numerous things. There's no telling. So then, um, but so we still have this weird stuff going on in the sky. There's no telling. Our sky just keeps being so weird looking to me. And um, so, and we have all of this stuff up there that is also in our lungs, and which goes into your bloodstream and all that, and goes into your cells. So we're all carrying all of this stuff. And so if something were to initiate some impact point for these things, you would think that that would also create a rift up in the sky. Like we would see some, explode something. There would be a warning, and we would see something happen. So I don't know, because to me, it's like I still feel like that there is a group, there's two opposing forces. There's every single thing, there's two opposing forces. And so there's a one force that is for the betterment of humans, and they're more in contact with the higher beings. And then we have the other side that is more about control, and they're in contact with the lower vibration beings. And so this conflict, but there's two opposing, there's the dark and the light. And the light, I would say, is going to be trying to make sure that certain things don't happen. Just like if they were to send a NUKE out, there's one group that would come down and just, it would not work. And that is because that they have done those before, but just like what it is shown in those movies and stuff, it crosses through other dimensions and it affects other beings that aren't involved in our ridiculousness and our warring. So we affect other ones. So those are not allowed to work. But there's other types of weapons, and they're more technologically sophisticated. And so I'm sure one side has certain ones that are more like, well, we don't want that. And then the other one, I think it would be trying to stop certain things. So if they decided, well, we're going to heat it up and turn it on so all these people. But the thing is, even if they blow up this world, like we just leave and go and create another one, it's not like it's going to really affect us. The thing is, you get caught up in your roles and stuff and your family, and then you feel like, that this is, but I think that is a part of learning to appreciate what you have in the here and now. It's only in this moment. It doesn't repeat. You go out and play all these different things all the time, but you have your people, your other souls, your other energies that you interact with, but it's much more vast too. It's not just like 20 people. It's a huge amount of people. And so it's only in the here and now do you get to have the experience you're having right at this moment. And so it's learning how to appreciate the here and now, what you have right here and right now, because it can go at any moment. And so I would say that the light is kind of trying to lead us or get us going and make a protective pathway, so that we can get to where it is that we're going. Because I don't believe that it's written in the story that this is the end of the earth. Like it's the end of the way things are. It's the end of a cycle of control and dominance. And so so it's not like the one side's here to save us, but they're like more on our side. And so I would think, like, if they knew, like, something was going to happen, there would be, like, they would say, make sure you get this and do that, which there has been a lot of that stuff. Get this, and that, and do these things. And that's out there. But I don't know. Because it always, to me, it seems like the thing that they would have no control over would be natural disasters. And so the natural disaster seems to be the thing that would be like the natural thing that would create the change. But it can be that these people are trying to create these disasters, trying to push these disasters or something. I don't know. So, it's just back to every time that they are like, oh, this could happen, and it doesn't happen, then it's just right back to the drawing board. Okay, so what's coming then? What's going to come? And especially, it's kind of weird when they have these perfect opportunities and they go past them. And then you think, so you got a better one than this, a better one that's going to affect the world, a better one that's going to wake people up than what the one we just skipped? It's like, so what is it going to be, But I can't imagine that but I would still say, detox, try and do all that you can to get the metals out of you. But I can't imagine it would be one where they're going to wipe out 95% of the people. It just, that seems extreme. And so, especially, when you counterbalance it to the Book of One, and then they were like 3/4 of the people are going on. Well, are they talking about 3/4 of the people who were the 95%? Because out of the 95%, there's only 5% of the people who are left. How many people are there to help them even move forward? Like, it seems like, so is it the 5% that would be left? Are they all asleep? Is this their awakening moment? And the rest of us, we've all, we woke up, so we're out and we go create our own world and leave these ones? Like, I don't have any idea. So, but if we are, taken out by this thing, this frequency situation, then I would say, well, as soon as you come out, you just go where you want to go. You go, you're like, have awareness of yourself, because that's the thing, is like, people just don't realize, like, when you come out, you're going to feel the same. You're not going to feel like something's missing. You're not going to feel like, it would take notice for you to be like, wait a minute, I don't have any pain anymore. Wait a minute, I got 2 legs now. Wait a minute, I got, like, you would not have, it's, you just feel the same. You don't feel any different. And so you have to stop and think it through of what is different. And you wouldn't be in that headspace. But once you realize, like, wait a minute, I'm out of my body. These aren't the same. Like, everything's different all of a sudden. I'm in a different world. Go towards the world that you want. And the only thing that would hold you back is your vibration. But if you're going towards it, you'll go like on the path. You'll go on the golden thing to the Wizard of Oz. What was that called? The golden path. It was the yellow brick road. Okay, so you go on the yellow brick road. So it's the path to where it is that you want to get to. And so, and along your journey, you will find people that would be there to help you. So don't let, always go towards where you want. Don't just become a product of theirs where they direct you. So, and if you have, if you become surrounded by your guides and your family and stuff like that, then you would, ask questions and say, I want to go towards here. How do I get there? They may want to just have a reunion. They may be there to tell you where it is that you need to go. I don't know. But you have to become more conscious of yourself. Don't become like unaware. Don't become like, well, now I'm dead. Now I can't do what I want. Now I'm stuck. Don't think like that. That's, I think, where they've kept a lot of people stuck in this whole thing of building up what death is, and then people go to it, and then they all of a sudden feel like, well, now I can't do what I want. Now I'm dead. But no, go towards, It's like the journey of the soul is the yellow brick road. The journey of your soul is always going to where you want to be. It's the road to ascension. And if they say, um, well, you have other lifetimes that you have to experience in order to get to that place, then that still is the journey to get to where you want to go. So you just have to become more conscious, in a more conscious state of once you go out of your body. And so you have to just recognize and realize little signs, like things will seem different, because it's not like it's a big, huge drama. And it can be a lot of different things. It can be like all of a sudden everything seems really dark. To me, when I came out of my body, everything seemed kind of cloudy. It seemed kind of gray, but I think I was also in a certain realm. I wasn't up in a higher one. I was more in the one, like the astral one, where you come out and you have to go through different realms. And so I think I was in, the one closest to us. And so everything was very gray and cloudy. And I thought it was smoke. I thought there was smoke everywhere, and I was confused why I didn't smell smoke. And so that's where you got to stay in your conscious state of asking questions and trying to be like, okay, well, where am I? What's happening here? And so, because I think a part of their game is trying to keep control of our souls. And so, you want to, no matter what point you're at, be in control of your soul. So no matter, what happens, if something occurs and 95% of us find ourselves out of here, we just reconnect and go towards where it is that we want to go. We just go and become creators of the world we want to create. And we don't want to be trapped in their low vibration world and be their worker bees for the world they want to have. So that's the part of you that becomes your sovereignty, and part of you that becomes your individuality. So you want to not be a product of their environment, and we want to become the creators of our own environment. And so the thing is if they do something like a high frequency thing that all of a sudden affects us, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I have a headache, and your nose starts bleeding, and you kind of fall down. When you stand up, you may not be in your body anymore, and you may be like, well, wait a minute. And you may see your body, and it may be real quick where you're like, oh, I'm out of my body now, so I've left that place. Now I'm going on a new journey. So it just depends. It depends on how it goes for you, because some people, as soon as they come out of their body, they're zipping out, they're on the ceiling, then they're in the sky, then they're in other realms. And so you may not realize until you kind of question it for yourself. Well, how am I doing this? Where am I? Where am I? Where's my body? And then it's like, oh, I don't have that anymore. So now I'm freewheeling it. Now I'm on my own. I'm doing what I want to do. So, and then you got to stay conscious of what it is that you want to do. Don't be misled, because that's part of what a lot of people say about this prison planet, that they get manipulated. And so, and I don't know everybody's experience, but I just know when you come out, you may not even, death may not be some big drama like people think it's going to be, where it's like confusion, and then they're out because you feel so much the same, and people are not expecting that. There's a lot of confusion for people when they come out of their bodies. Oh, my daughter's calling me. So anyways, but that's the thing to stay focused on. I guess I'll go call her back. But anyways, I think I basically have said those stuff, so I don't know. We just have to see what's coming today, what the plan is. Hopefully where there is, hopefully the doors of hell, and that's the crashing of the system, the crashing of the banks and stuff. But, what was it? Something, because if the grid goes down and stuff like that, that's the thing. Oh, she's calling again. Is that, we won't have a way to get around and stuff. We won't know our way around. But anyways, I better go because she's calling again. So just remember, work on yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love everybody else. Learn to have the day you want to have. And we'll see what they have to offer us today. And we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.